Angela, Beyond Belief, JC, what's up? Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing great actually. So yeah, thanks for asking. yeah, I know it's been a while since I did a street live, I guess, right? No, yeah, I just obviously just taking a little break, focusing on the family and work, but yeah, hopefully I'm able to get back on track and start being consistent again. This whole thing, this whole topic at the end of the day is about being consistent, repetition, and yeah, just being consistent. That's the only way it's going to move forward. I mean, the facts are not going to change, so it's about embracing them and representing them. And again, it's going to sound repetitive, because again, truth is what it is. It doesn't change, especially when we're talking about objective reality. Reality doesn't change, it just doesn't, physics doesn't change, basically, so no, yeah. So I mean, the students are back in school as well, so it's, I was gonna post up outside because there's way more foot traffic that I noticed outside, but it is gonna be a 90-degree day today, and I didn't want the sun to catch me off guard, right? So I decided just to go inside under the tree, under the shade, maybe take it a little bit easy today, and yeah, maybe in the future I'll go outside. But what's up, one man, Base Truther, Natalie? Good to see you all. So the title of the video, level and motionless, is an oxymoron, right? So why is level and motionless an oxymoron? Well, simple, because, well, what does an oxymoron mean? I guess for those of you that don't know, it's basically a contradiction in itself. So a phrase that contradicts itself, right? So when we're talking about level and motionless, well, guess what? Level is an orientation, right? Level is not just something that exists on its own. You require a reference point, right? You require, in other words, the vertical. From the vertical, or from the plumb, you get your level, your horizontal, right? So level being an orientation relative to the vertical basically is that level, basically, orientation, requires motion. So in other words, so by default, level requires motion. Because level is an orientation, and orientation requires motion. So by default, level requires motion. It requires it. It's not, or sometimes, or, no, it requires it. So motionless or motionless flat earthers claiming level and motionless. I mean, it's cool if you call it flat and motionless. That's not an oxymoron, because flat is not an orientation. So you could say flat and motionless. Again, it's just something that's flat, doesn't have orientation, so it's just like floating in space with no reference points. So it's just what's up, what's down. There's no indication of what's up and down. So again, these flat earthers that are trying to hijack level and try to say, oh, it's a level and motionless. Again, they're just muddying the waters. They're trying to equate level and flat. That's how they're kind of like smearing the word level. They're kind of like shitting all over it with this word flat, because flat earth, it's been shitted all over already. Now they're trying to smear that shit onto the level earth. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's where I have a problem, because again, it's a completely different definition when we're using these words. Again, the earth has orientation. The earth has motion. Again, orientation requires motion. So a globe earther will admit the earth does have orientation. Even flat earthers will too, but it's kind of weird that the orientation creates itself, in other words, for motionless flat earthers, which is fucking retarded, right? So at least globers understand that the globe earth does have a force, you know, has a point of reference, that being a pulling force of gravity, that downwards flow towards the center, right? And from that, again, the vertical, which is not parallel on a globe, again, meaning level has to be a curve, you know, based on their model, you know. So again, when we go to reality, again, level, you know, water being level when contained and at rest shows that it's a horizontal surface. You know, even the mainstream admits that the definition for level is horizontal, right? It's when it starts to get into the globe earth topic is when they change their definition from level to curve, you know, on paper, on a globe, right? But yeah, at the end of the day, you know, level and flat are completely two different things. Level requires motion. The earth has orientation, aka it has motion. So to claim that it's level and motionless is a complete retarded statement, you know. It's an oxymoron, you know. Nothing personal to the people that claim it. You know, maybe you're ignorant to the definitions of these words. Maybe you're ignorant to what's required to have orientation. You know, you require a force. Force being matter in motion, right? Something that's moving, that's a force. Again, the globe earth at least acknowledges that by imagining this flow of gravitational field, right? Or gravitational force field for that matter, right? They at least acknowledge it, right? So motionless flat earthers, in my opinion, are even a step back because they don't even acknowledge that fact. So, you know, so again, if people haven't realized that the motionless flat earth is the flat earth psyop, it's a psyop, in other words, like, then you're far behind, you know. It's not easy to understand, you know. Again, if we can prove, again, that, again, how do we know that the earth is in motion again, right? How do we know that objects don't accelerate down by a magical force, right? How do we know that? Well, I want to go over a video. I know I went over in the last live, but I just feel like it's very, very important because density and buoyancy is what's in question. At the end of the day, the cause of density and buoyancy, right? Motionless flat earthers will say, "Whoa, it creates itself." You know, density and buoyancy, it's already programmed within the matter to go up and down, right? Like, okay, so that's a claim, right? Density and buoyancy creates itself, but through tests, we can see, observe, and repeat that density and buoyancy are effects of a force, aka something that's in motion. In this case that I'm going to show, it's a container that's in motion that creates the effects of density and buoyancy. Density and buoyancy being moving in opposite directions, in other words. So when you release an apple and it falls to the ground and a helium balloon rises up to the sky, we will call that density and buoyancy, right? A motion vector of density and buoyancy, right? The question is, well, what creates this motion vector of density and buoyancy? And again, I'm going to show that it's motion. Usually is a contained system that has a fluid inside, like air or water. And then if you have something that's less dense and something that's more dense than the fluid that's in the container, when you apply a force, the less dense and the more dense objects are going to separate, are going to appear to separate, you know, go in opposite directions, you know. And that's what we witness here on Earth. We see the separation of matter from most dense to less dense based on the fluid that surrounds it, based on the direction of the force or the motion, you know. Buoyancy following the direction of the force, you know, because it's less dense, it's being pushed by the water, and we know inanimate matter cannot move itself, so the water also has to be moving in that same direction to be able to push something that's less dense as well, you know. So yeah, let me see if I can, I did download it. Let me see if I can add it. I should be here. Yeah, here it is. I'll go up. I'll play the video just to make the point for those of you that haven't seen it, and then we'll elaborate on it. So here, let me make sure the volume's good. Again, I think this is very important. Again, because it's density and buoyancy. Again, it's what's in question. So again, these are two experiments, two density and buoyancy experiments right here. Let me put this up a bit. Okay. In this video, I'll be doing two different density and buoyancy experiments. I'll be recreating density and buoyancy in three different vectors utilizing motion of a contained reference frame. In the first experiment, I'll be using a container with water, a red ping pong ball, and a steel ball. The ping pong ball and the steel ball will always displace relative to the direction of the force that's applied. For example, when I accelerate the container to the right, the container pushes the water in the same direction, creating a pressure gradient. The water is then able to push anything that's less dense, like the ping pong ball, in that same direction. That is what we would call buoyancy. However, the water is not dense enough to push the steel ball like the ping pong ball, so the steel ball remains in the same position. The steel ball only appears to move in the opposite direction of the buoyant force because the camera is also moving with the container. The ping pong ball has true motion and the steel ball has apparent motion. The same principles apply when I accelerate in any other direction. In the second experiment, I'll be using a tube with water, an air bubble, and a steel ball. To accelerate the container down, I will be using a resistance band. As you can see, when connected to the earth, we can experience a force creating density and buoyancy. The air bubble is being pushed up and the steel ball appears to move down in the opposite direction of the buoyant force. You can also see the air bubble is flattened where the force is being applied. However, when I release the container into free fall, density and buoyancy completely vanish. The air bubble is no longer being pushed up and turns into a sphere, showing that there isn't a force present in free fall. When I actually accelerate the container down, we can see density and buoyancy invert. The air bubble is being pushed down and the steel ball appears to move up. Not only does acceleration require a force, acceleration will always cause displacement of solids, liquids, and gas, proving that objects don't accelerate down in free fall. Again, the fact that in free fall there's a claim of acceleration, but we know that if we have an accelerometer, a simple accelerometer, again a fluid with something that's less dense and something that's more dense, we know that if we accelerate that container, that there's gonna be displacement 100% of the time. So even when I accelerate down, again, let me play that real quick. I gotta add all these right here anyway, so might as well do it now. I do have a lot of little, because I made a lot of GIFs lately and I didn't organize them, so bear with me. Let me see, 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3. And I guess we could add these two as well, and these two. Okay. So again, when I accelerate this container with a ping pong ball, with water, a ping pong ball, and a steel ball, we clearly can see the displacement. We can measure, we can detect. Let me just use that word because I know people are gonna try to troll that, but we can detect that there is a force present. Why? Because matter doesn't have the ability to move itself, right? So the ping pong ball and the steel ball didn't just move themselves. The ping pong ball didn't even move. That's the crazy part. A lot of people would interpret this like, oh shit, the ping pong ball and the steel ball both swung, in opposite directions, right? That's what the mind would tell somebody, that doesn't understand or hasn't looked into relative motion or force or density and buoyancy, in other words. So, the mind could interpret this that there was two motions in this container, a dense object going in one direction and a buoyant object in the opposite direction. The reality is that only the ping pong ball is in motion. Only the ping pong ball moved towards the wall of the container. The steel ball, on the other hand, didn't move towards the wall of the container. The wall of the container moved towards the steel ball. So that's what happened here. So what happened is when I accelerated this container to the right, because again, that's where the ping pong ball is moving, the buoyancy shows you the direction that the motion is going in of the container. So when the ping pong ball moves to the right, the whole container is also moving to the right. Again, a container pushing the water and the water pushing the ping pong ball. So what happens, because the water's not dense enough to push the steel ball, the wall of the container comes into contact with the steel ball. Again, because the steel ball has inertia. Matter wants to remain motionless. And the water's not dense enough to put it into motion. So again, the steel ball only appears to swing in the opposite direction, not because it's moving towards the wall of the container, but it's because the wall of the container is moving towards the ping pong ball. Again, that motion creating the pressure gradient that also pushes the steel ball, and the motion that creates the pressure gradient that pushes the ping pong ball in that direction as well. So again, very, very easy. So when we're talking about free fall, when I actually accelerate down, here we go. As soon as I release the container right there, we can see density and buoyancy invert. And by that I mean like again, when I'm holding it, the air bubble is, again, buoyancy shows you the direction of the motion of the container. So when I'm holding it here on Earth, the air bubble is rising up. Again, buoyancy showing you the direction that the container is moving. And the steel ball appears to go down towards the bottom of the container, but we know that density, doesn't move itself to the walls of a container. It's the wall of the container that moves towards the dense object. So again, when I'm holding it, we can see the apparent motion of the dense object, the steel ball moving down and the air bubble moving on. And as soon as I release it, that inversion happens. Now the steel ball appears to move in the opposite direction of the force, which is up, and the air bubble moves in the down direction, of the force, and that's what we will call, actual downwards acceleration, matter reacting to the force that's being applied when I actually accelerate. Again, we get that displacement, that separation, of matter, so we can easily invert density and buoyancy when we actually accelerate. However, when we put the container into free fall, where is that one? It's this one. Not only does the air bubble stop in its tracks, it doesn't move up or down, and it actually turns into a sphere, because again, you could see that it looks like bullet shape. It looks flat from the bottom when it's being pushed up, and when I invert it, I can show it right now. You can see that air bubble being pushed down. The bullet shape inverts, right? But in free fall, the air bubble detects a zero force. It's not being pushed up or down anymore, and it just turns into a sphere. Not only that, the steel ball, it's still decelerating in the upwards trajectory. So again, it's still decelerating, when I release it, and it's only because the steel ball started to decelerate before I decelerated the container. So the steel ball has a faster deceleration rate by the time I release the container. If you're paying attention, again, the steel ball started to decelerate before I released the container. Therefore, it has a slightly faster deceleration rate when I release it, so it still appears to move down, which again is the opposite direction of the force. How's it going?
How's it going? Yeah.
Hey, so you want to give this a shot?
Yeah, I want to.
Yeah. All right. 2 very easy questions. Let me see if we can get them. Should have had this ready, but they both have to do with water. Very easy. Water, yeah. So, this first one, I have 3 water bottles, and I fill them halfway with water, and I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it easier to see. I also threw in a ping pong ball in there, just for fun.
Yeah.
But another thing to note about these water bottles is that they're all at rest, right? So you know what that means, right?
Yeah,
they're all still. So how I'm showing you these water bottles, let's put them in over 1, 2, 3. How I'm showing them to you, what's the difference between them on 3 water bottles?
The difference? One's upside down.
Yeah.
One is the water's sideways. Okay. And then the one is just right here.
Okay. Can you flip them?
Can I flip them?
Yeah, flip them how they should be then. You say one is upside down.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You got it. Okay. You got it.
I'm assuming that's
you got it. You got it. Yeah, that was pretty good. What showed you, or how did you know that that's the correct position?
By the water and then the ball. Just
yeah, because obviously when you have air and water in a bottle, the water can never be on top. Yeah, exactly. It's always in the bottom, and the air is always on top. Yeah, pretty easy. You got it. Pretty good. Some people don't get it, believe it or not. Yeah, that's pretty good. So this next one again. Here we go. So in this one, I have 3 box trucks, and again, they're halfway filled with water. The only thing is in this one of the trucks is at rest, one of them is accelerating forward, and one of them is accelerating in reverse. So which one of these 3 is at rest?
At rest?
At rest. B. And what would you say B is at rest?
Because it's not moving, so it's just going to just flat.
Still, right? Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so which one is accelerating forward?
This one.
Why do you say that one's accelerating forward?
Because when it goes forward, all the stuff goes in the back.
You got it. Yeah, pretty easy, right? Because of inertia, water wants to remain in its position. So when you accelerate, the water pushes back.
Yeah.
Even when I accelerate down, the water wants to push up.
Yeah.
That's obvious, right? So let me ask you this. When I release like this water bottle into free fall, for example, when it's in free fall, do you believe it accelerates down to the ground or it moves down to the ground? By gravity?
Or the water?
Just the whole bottle in general. Yeah, when I release this, do you believe gravity pulls it to the earth, down to the earth?
Yeah.
Right. So when we actually accelerate versus free fall, again, we got this up right here. When we actually accelerate versus free fall, again, when I accelerate here, we can see that displacement, water wanting to push up.
Yeah.
In free fall, we get no reaction of the water. So basically, free fall shows us that there's no actual acceleration of objects down.
Yeah.
So this whole idea of gravity being a pulling force is actually not real. So I don't know if you heard gravity being a theory, right? Yeah, gravity is just a theory. So they haven't measured this force that's actually accelerating objects down. And the reason why is because there is no force accelerating objects down. And there is also no effects of a force, which will be the displacement, water pushing back in the opposite direction you accelerate the bottle. So again, gravity is just a theory to make people believe that the Earth is a globe. Now let me ask you, do you believe the Earth is a globe?
Yeah.
Right. So the reality is, when I release this object, it's not the object that moves through the ground, it's the ground that moves up to the object. So right now, everything's in motion right now. So you have you feel the pressure under your feet right now, right? But we're being told that it's gravity pulling us down to the Earth, but the fact is it's the Earth pushing up against you. And because your body has inertia, it wants to remain motionless, it resists that motion. So that's why you have weight right now.
Oh.
So again, if we could prove that it's the Earth pushing up, and obviously gravity is just a theory that has never been proven, and up is relative on a ball, how can the Earth be moving up on a ball? It can't. It will explode because up is in every direction from the center. So that's why this whole idea of gravity has to be pushed before they even push a globe Earth. So I don't know if you've heard of flat Earth.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
So flat Earth is a psyop because over 95% of flat earthers and content creators claim the Earth is motionless. So they don't have an explanation or a force to why objects fall to the ground. So they're on the same boat with gravity. They claim that objects get pulled down by a magical force that doesn't cause displacement. So again, the flat Earth and the globe Earth are both the same. Yeah. They're both psyops. The fact is the Earth is level, meaning horizontal, and it's pushing up against you. It's literally moving up. So that wouldn't work from a globe. So, I mean, do you have any questions for me? I know.
No. Are you a teacher? Or?
No, I'm not a teacher. I just come here to challenge the students. So I came across this in 2016, so 8 years ago. And believe it or not, it's the most heavily censored topic online right now, by far, any other topic. So that's why I'm out here speaking to people, because nobody's talking about this. Nobody. Everybody, again, even flat earthers are talking about magical forces in free fall, again, because the globe Earth requires that. I would say all these flat earthers are all gatekeepers. Have you heard of that term?
Yeah, gatekeepers.
Yeah, they're all gatekeepers. Most of them. Over 98% of flat earthers on YouTube, especially content creators, are all gatekeepers. That's how controlled this is. So again, they're trying to keep this idea of gravity alive, because without it, if the Earth is pushing up, how does that work? It wouldn't. So again, this is the biggest lie on Earth, that objects accelerate in free fall. They don't. It's the Earth pushing up.
Yeah, I've never really thought about it like that. About the globe like pushing up, because even can I see it, bro?
Yeah, definitely.
Even if it was like to go up, then like if you're on the side.
Yeah, exactly. It's not up. That's going that way. Yeah, exactly. It has to be growing in order to explain that. So you know of buoyancy, right? When an air bubble is rising, or when a helium balloon moves up. So the only way to recreate buoyancy is when you have a container, for example, like this. Look, I did a cargo van. I put a helium balloon in there and an apple. The helium balloon moves in the direction of acceleration because the air is also traveling in that direction. Because the air is more dense than the helium, is able to push it forward. The apple is more dense than the air, so it just appears to swing back, but it's being left behind. That's the thing. The apple's being left behind. The apple
accelerating?
It's accelerating forward right now. And again, buoyancy shows you the direction I accelerated. So again, the apple only appears to do the same thing as the helium balloon because it's being left behind. It's not actually being pushed back. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole container is moving. So when we release a helium balloon here on Earth and we release something that's more dense, it's the same principle. So the air is pushing up the helium, but the air cannot push itself. the ground's pushing up the air, creating this pressure up. You know, again, and anything that's more dense than air, the air cannot keep it pushing it up, so it just appears to go down because of inertia. Matter wants to remain motionless, and we're all in motion. So free fall means free from any force. So again, exactly. And the Einstein's theory of relativity, he claims that gravity is not a force. That's where they come up with their bending and warping of space-time. That's just bullshit to try and explain away that fact from a globe. Yeah. So they claim that there is an upwards push, but this downwards flow of the bending and warping cancels it out. So it's like all retarded, you know. The whole Einstein theory of relativity, if anybody actually believes it or takes it serious, just shows that you're not really thinking, you know what I'm saying?
But yeah, they don't really make us think. It's just, you learn this and there.
Exactly. They don't even, if you start asking like logical questions, you know, you start getting in trouble or stuff like that, you know? Yeah. You know? And again, if you don't answer that, the correct answer like the way they have it on the test, you're not going to pass. Exactly. Yeah. So that's how they're pushing this on people, you know, by forcing it onto people. And again, they admit it's a theory because it has never been proven, and it never will be. Because the reality is the Earth pushing up. Buoyancy shows us that, you know. And in free fall, when you have an air bubble rising, let me show you real quick just before you go, because this is very important, believe it or not. When you have an air bubble rising, that air bubble doesn't rise anymore because it's not being pushed by the Earth. So right here, when I release it into free fall, look at the air bubble right there. It stops being pushed up. It just turns into a sphere. Look, it's being pushed up when I'm holding it. As soon as I release it into free fall, that air bubble no longer moves up or down, because it requires the Earth's push. So when something's in free fall, it's not being pushed. Yeah, you know. So that air bubble can't move through the medium anymore because it requires to be connected to the Earth. Again, buoyancy is an effect of the Earth's motion up. You know, so it's cool. No, yeah. Have you ever heard of that before? Probably not, right?
Never really looked into it either.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling you, a lot. Again, all of these flat earthers are a turnoff. All these motionless flat earthers, and that's the whole point. They're supposed to just say a lot of stupid shit. You know, like the globe Earth. Again, no offense, but it's to turn people off to this whole topic. Yeah. The fact is, you know, it's the biggest, most important topic, and that's why it's the most censored. So do you have any questions before you go? I know I don't want to keep you too long.
Do you have like an Instagram?
Oh yeah, my YouTube. Check it out, man. You can take that with you.
Oh, I can take it.
Yeah,
okay.
The inside of the 6 main proofs that debunk the globe, besides the Earth's motion, which is the number one. But you know, give it a look, and yeah. Yeah, thanks for the chat. Yeah, nice to meet you too, man. William. All right, man. Thank you. Wow, that was really good. That was really good. Like, holy shit. Like, he understood it. Like, holy shit. Like, I didn't even prep how I was gonna present these and nothing. It just happened. Like, I'm telling you, I didn't even think about it really much. I just made the gifts. I just, you know, and just came out. Again, I didn't really think twice about it or try to prep or overthink or anything. It just went with it, and it went really well. I'm glad. Yeah. So yeah, it was really good. It was pretty good for the first conversation. Again, buoyancy is an effect of the Earth's motion. Prove me wrong, type of thing, right? And it's funny how the globe Earth acknowledges that, oh yeah, you do require something to create buoyancy, right? Because obviously an air bubble cannot move itself, and water cannot push itself either to be able to push an air bubble, right? So the globe Earth does acknowledge there's an upwards force of the Earth. It's the normal force. Don't ask how it's created or you know, how it's even there, but there's an upwards force of the Earth, and the warping and bending of space-time cancels it out. But is it still able to move, you know, less dense objects up? It's still able to push air bubbles up, even though there's a net force between the bending and warping of space-time, which is not a force, but is able to cancel out a force. I don't know how that works, but there's a net force of 0 apparently, and that's why the Earth doesn't expand, but it's still able to push air bubbles up, which shows a force. So the net force cannot be 0. But if the net force is not 0, that means the Earth is expanding. So that's a contradiction in itself. So yeah, the whole globe Earth model is a fucking joke. You know, and the stationary flat Earth is no different. It's worse, if anything. You know, they don't have a force. The density and buoyancy create itself, even though it vanishes in free fall. Like, you know, fucking retards. Oh man, pretty crazy. Oh, and we got like 4 students looking at the table to see if they come. Oh man. This is great, man. Again, this is elementary level stuff. You know, that's another thing that globe earthers and stationary flat earthers do. You know, it's part of the sophistry. They overcomplicate the simplicity of reality. You know, reality doesn't require language. It just requires demonstrations, repeating the effects or the cause of the demonstrations, or what we see using a demonstration. You know, and that's it. And understanding what's happening. Again, the understanding is the recreation of it. If you're able to recreate it, then you understand it. You don't need words. Again, all you need is a demonstration. You know, I guess some people are a bit slow, so they require an explanation on top of the demonstration, which is, you know, if it's fair. If you have the demonstration to back up your explanation, perfect, you know? But the explanation is not required. And that's the thing with globe earth and stationary flat earth. That's the only thing they have is explanations. You know, they don't have the practical. They don't have the demonstrations of their claims. All they have is explanations. And basically, it's just sophistry. It's basically a way to lie. It's tactics. It's you know, it's what deceivers do. You know, they try to find ways to be sneaky about their lies, right? But that's the thing, though. If you're properly grounded in understanding basic physics, elementary physics, again, I'm not even talking about fucking computer engineering or fucking, you know, complicated physics. No, I'm talking about very fundamental facts about this reality. For example, an object requires a force to have motion. You know, in order to have acceleration, in other words, you require a force. You know, not only that, acceleration will always cause displacement. So again, we have the cause, which is a force, and we have the effects, which is acceleration and displacement. You know, displacement showing that it's accelerating. So again, when people are claiming acceleration in free fall, not only are they missing the force, again, which is the cause for the acceleration, which is required for the acceleration, they're also missing the effects of the acceleration, which is the displacement. You know? So, hey, how's it going? All right, so 2 very easy questions, and let's see if you guys can get them. You know, you guys should be able to get them.
Is the camera on right now?
Yeah, the camera's on. So again, they both have to do with water, by the way. Very easy. So in this first one, I have 3 water bottles, and I filled them halfway with water, and I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it easier to see. And I also put a ping pong ball in there just for fun. So another thing to note is that all these 3 water bottles are at rest. So how I'm showing you these 3 water bottles, what's the difference between them, all 3 of them?
Is it just their orientation?
Okay, yeah, you got it. Yeah, you got it. Can you put them in the orientation they should be, I guess?
You said the blue is water,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Because the ball is floating on the
Yeah,
surface.
exactly. You guys got it.
Yeah.
So if I was to ask you guys, how did you guys know?
Because we know that water
It's like water that goes
the
down.
air always pushes water out of the way, so air is on top.
Yes. You guys got it. Perfect. Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
easy.
we
Yeah.
passed it. Yay, we're 11th graders. Thank goodness.
All right, one more.
Oh,
One more. Yeah. So this one is the second one. So I have a box truck with water as well. The only thing in this one, only one of the trucks is at rest. One of them is accelerating forward, and one of them is accelerating in reverse. So out of the 3, which one is at rest?
B.
B. Okay. Why would you guys say B?
There's no motion. Water
No
won't
motion.
move.
Exactly. So which one's accelerating forward?
A.
A. You guys
Yeah.
got it. Yeah. Again, why is it A?
Because pushing backwards air.
Because it'll like
Yeah.
when you move forward, the air will push the water.
Because an
back.
object at rest
It's
station
actually the
has to
opposite. I don't know if you knew that. The water pushes the air forward.
Oh.
Yeah, because the water's more dense. So the water is able to carry the water.
The air. The way I know it was A, because my dad works for a beer delivering company.
Okay.
And he always tells us how whenever he moves, all of the cases go all the way to the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're at rest, and so once you move, it takes a second for them to go.
Not only that, but all matter has inertia. So it wants to remain in its
Inertia.
position. So when you accelerate the container, again, that wants to remain in its position so that, pushes back, in the opposite. Again, even when I accelerate this bottle down, the water moves up. Again, the opposite direction you
it tries to
accelerate.
stay.
Again, exactly, it tries to stay. So any direction, right?
Yeah.
So when I actually accelerate down, let me show you guys this real quick. So let me ask you guys this before I get to the next one. When I release this object into free fall, do you guys believe gravity moved this towards the ground or accelerated this towards the ground.
It's a force, so it's an attraction.
So, yeah, right. So again, if we understand inertia and acceleration of a container with water, when I actually accelerate a container versus free fall, which one would you say I actually accelerated?
Accelerated.
Left or right?
I think it would be like
the right one, exactly, because that one shows the displacement. The water wants to push up.
Yeah.
The one on the left is free fall, which doesn't show any effects of acceleration. So I don't know if you guys knew, gravity is just a theory, and the reason why is because a measurable force in free fall has never been measured. Not only that, the effects of a force, which is displacement, water pushing back and the air moving forward, doesn't exist in free fall as well. Again, the water's in the opposite direction it should be in free fall. And the fact is because objects don't accelerate down in free fall. The fact is when you release an object, the earth moves up to meet it. So it's not the object that moves down to the earth, it's the earth that's literally moving up. So again, if we can prove that it's the earth moving up and it's not the object being pulled down towards the earth, and up is relative on a ball, you guys believe the earth is a ball, by the way, right? Yeah. And up is relative on a ball, how can the earth move up on a ball? How can the earth be moving up on a ball?
Because it's moving through space already.
But it can only move through space in one direction, either this way or this way. And up is relative, right? It's in every direction opposite from the center. So the fact is that it wouldn't work from a globe. That would mean the globe will have to be expanded. You know, if we could prove that it's the earth pushing up against you and it's not pulling you down. Exactly, it would explode.
The earth is more of an egg, not a sphere, so that's...
But even then, up is still in every direction opposite from the center.
Yeah, physically contort.
Exactly. Which would so the biggest lie on Earth is not really the globe Earth. It's the fact that people claim that object accelerating free fall. So that globe Earth requires that belief that when you release an object, it's the object that moves down to the Earth and not the Earth moving up to the object. Why? Because again, the globe Earth wouldn't work. Now I know if you guys heard of flat Earth, right, before. So this is where the flat Earth is a psyop as well. Over 95% of flat earthers claim the Earth is motionless, which means they also claim objects accelerate down in free fall. So these flat earthers are keeping the whole gravity idea alive, which is keeping the whole globe Earth idea alive. So most of flat earthers online, over 95% of them are gatekeepers. Have you guys heard of that term? So they're all bullshitters as well. They're all liars. You know, the fact is the Earth is not flat. The Earth is level. Why? Because level is an orientation, and orientation requires motion. So the Earth is level, perpendicular to the vertical, which is the Earth's motion. You know. So again, you guys know, heard of buoyancy, right? Like when an air bubble is rising or a helium balloon rises. So buoyancy is actually an effect of a container that's moving. So again, can I show you guys real quick before you guys go? So in this example here, I have a helium balloon in a cargo van and an apple. Can you tell what direction I accelerated the van? Left or right?
I think it would be right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what happens when I accelerate to the right, the air inside the van also gets pushed in that same direction, and because air is more dense than helium, it's also able to push it in that same direction. The air is not more dense than the apple, so the apple wants to remain in its position in space because of inertia. So again, just like the water pushing back in the opposite direction, the apple is also trying to push back because the air is not dense enough to keep pushing it like the helium balloon. What the hell is that?
They should have said that at the beginning.
Right. So real quick, so when I release the helium balloon, what do you think is happening? Why does it go up?
Because the air density is like, you know, it wants to reach somewhere that's...
But why does it want to reach somewhere that's dense?
Because helium gets attracted by, like...
The fact is the same principles. The air is also moving up. Oh my God.
This is a test of the emergency notification system. No action is necessary.
Not even UCR students are getting...
Alright, David's getting nuked.
Yeah. So again, when something that's less dense like a helium balloon rises, it's the same principles. The air is also pushing up. Exactly. But air cannot push itself. So it's pushing up the air. It's the Earth. Again. So the Earth, again, is pushing up against you. It's not pulling you down. That's the reality. And buoyancy shows us the direction that the force is being applied. Because buoyancy is a force. Density is not. Density is just inertia, an object wanting to remain motionless. So it only appears to move in the opposite direction of force, which is up. You know. So, I mean, do you guys have any questions for me before you guys go about this topic? No, yeah, I'm glad you guys stopped. Let me give you guys my channel. And you guys can check it out. You know, I have debates like this all the time. Well, conversation, because reality is not up for debate. You know, reality is what it is. And it's just up to us to understand what's really going on, you know. So inside of the 6 main proofs that debunk the globe Earth, apart from the number 1, which is that objects don't accelerate down in free fall. You know, you guys can give it a read, and yeah, I mean, thanks for stopping.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, you guys have a good one. Again, it's like all the tools are there. Like, I mean, Andrew, Dell, myself, like we're going out of our ways to create these demonstrations, you know, so all the tools are there, you know. People can recreate these experiments as well, you know. So again, it's all about sharpening your tools now, you know, because it's all there, all the information's out. You know, maybe there may be new information that comes about, you know, and I'm open to it. Again, if it can be practically demonstrated. But for the most part, oh my god, that siren's fucking annoying, man. It's fucking up the flow of the conversations.
This is a test of the emergency notification system. No action is necessary. This is only a test.
Yeah, so I even lost my train of thought now. See what happens with these fucking distractions? Oh my god. What's up, man? That's gonna get annoying.
I'm not smarter than a 5th grader.
I'm pretty sure you are. You are. All right, it's 2 very easy questions, and they have to do with water.
Okay.
So this first one,
Okay.
I have a water bottle, you know, halfway filled with water, and I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it easier to see. And
Okay.
I also added a ping pong ball in there just for fun.
Okay.
But another thing to note is that these 3 water bottles are at rest. So how I'm showing them to you though, what's the difference between all 3 of them?
What's the difference
What's the
between
difference?
all 3 of them?
Yeah.
They're sitting at rest.
This is upside down,
Yeah,
right side up,
you got it.
and then sideways.
Yeah, so you would say like this,
Yeah.
right side up and sideways, right?
Is there
Yeah.
some other trick to it?
No, you got it. That's how they were sitting actually. So how did you know that, if I may ask?
Just buoyancy, water. 'cause of the-
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what he said.
Yeah, no, definitely. The water is more dense than air, again, in a ping pong ball, so it's going to go on the bottom.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then that's going to go on top. So, yeah, you got it pretty easy, huh?
Dude, I thought I was gonna watch that.
I thought you were gonna ask some crazy questions.
Nah, it's just elementary stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So who are you?
you ride, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. What kind of Triumph you
I
got?
actually did have it got stolen, unfortunately.
Oh, man,
yeah,
that
it was
sucks.
the Street Twin.
Oh, okay, sick.
yeah,
Heck,
it was
I had-
pretty cool, yeah.
I had a 900. The
Yeah,
Truxton.
yeah,
I
that's
had,
900 too.
I had the kind of slower version of the Sweet
Okay,
Tin,
okay.
but still one of
Oh,
my
you-
favorite
yeah,
bikes.
it is.
So I got rid of it sadly, but
Oh yeah, mine
man,
got
if-
stolen. I was gonna get rid of it too because I wasn't, it's pretty dangerous to ride, obviously. You know,
Yes.
especially nowadays, people are crazy drivers.
Just insane, yeah.
So, but yeah, I got stolen before that, so what a bummer.
This is somebody got rid of it for you.
Right? No, I was thinking maybe it's a blessing. Maybe I could have gone into an
There
accident.
you go,
know?
yeah.
So,
It's time.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
one more question. You guys have time for it?
Yeah,
One more,
of
real
course.
quick.
I ain't got
He's
nothing
gonna hit
going
us
on.
with some.
So this one, a box shop halfway filled with water.
Okay.
The only difference here, one of the trucks is at rest, one is accelerating forward, and one is accelerating in reverse. Which one's at rest?
Accelerating
Oh,
forward.
at rest is
at
this
rest. Decelerating.
How did you know that?
Because when you accelerate, inertia will take stuff back.
Yes.
And then as you're decelerating, inertia will take stuff forward.
Well, this is acceleration in reverse,
Yeah.
but it could also be braking. as
Yeah,
well.
true. Braking. Yeah,
it could
that's,
also be braking.
yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So again, even when I accelerate this bottle down, the water wants to move up.
Yeah.
You know, it always goes the opposite direction of the
Exactly,
force.
yeah.
So if I was to ask you guys, when I release...
Oh, yeah, that would be, okay, yeah.
So when I
I'm
release
behind,
this
I'm
into
backwards.
free fall, like this, and it goes, appears to go down to the earth, do you believe gravity moved it to the earth?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So again, when we go...
Gravity doesn't exist. It's
Exact-
flat. Everything's flat.
Dude,
he's about to-
I'm about to get there. So
Everything's flat.
when we actually accelerate versus free fall, acceleration actually shows the displacement like it should be. When you're
Yeah.
actually in free fall, there's no effects or cause of acceleration. So there's no force in free fall.
Because would you say that the water is falling at the same rate as the bottle, so wouldn't they stay in the same spot?
Then that kind of force is that you're claiming that you can accelerate this. Basically you're claiming that this is accelerating forward.
Yeah.
That kind of force that can accelerate without displacement, without swishing the water, doesn't exist. So the water will always react to a force. It will always react to acceleration. I don't know if you guys knew gravity is just a theory.
Yeah,
Because they've never measured a force in free fall because it doesn't exist. There's no displacement, there's no effects, and there's no cause of acceleration in free fall.
Flat dog.
Dude,
No. So the Earth is not flat, and I'm gonna tell you how flat Earth is a psyop. Over 95% of flat Earthers are claiming the Earth is motionless. So they're also claiming
That's static.
Yeah, they're claiming free fall is acceleration too.
Yeah.
The fact is, it's the Earth that's moving up. It's not pulling you down.
So what idea are you trying to get out by doing all this?
So the idea is that the gravity, the globe Earth. You guys believe the Earth is a ball, right?
Yes.
So the globe Earth requires gravity to pull objects to the ground.
Yeah,
Why? Because if we could prove that it's actually the ground pushing up against you and it's not pulling objects down, and up is relative on a ball, how can the Earth be moving up on a ball?
Does it have to do with centrifugal force? And
Well,
all
that's
that
a
stuff?
spin.
Yeah,
That's not
the
moving
spin.
up.
Yeah.
Because up will be this way, but then how can it move up that way and down up this way? Because again, up is relative on a ball, you know.
And relative in space, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the fact is that the globe Earth requires this belief that objects accelerate down in free fall, and over 95% of flat Earthers are claiming that too.
Because isn't the big thing of like quantum mechanics in space is like that it's like we live in a three-dimensional space, but like, as like Sagan says, it's like once we get up there, we're in a four-dimensional space. Hypothetically,
I would say four-dimensional space is theoretical.
Hypothetically, because it's like you can move this way, and in a two-dimensional plane, which is kind of is nutty.
Yeah, it is. So, but the fact is, again, the Earth is a level extended plane.
Yeah. Who level to level?
Oh, well, the level is relative to the motion. You require motion. You require something that's in motion for it to be, so you can get the level.
Yeah.
So the level is an orientation. Yeah, and orientation requires motion. So again, the Earth is level relative to the vertical, which is the motion of the Earth. It's literally pushing up against.
So you're onto something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Trust me. Physics shows.
So are you here in physics or what?
No. I just come here to challenge. They will not accept none of this in the classrooms.
Oh no.
They avoid this.
Yeah.
They avoid
it's like the Younger Dryas theory and all that stuff. It's terrible.
Yeah. So again, the Earth is not a globe, and what proves it? The fact that objects don't accelerate down in free fall. It's the Earth pushing up. You know, that's the reality.
So, like, if I had a helicopter,
yes,
I were to take off from right here, and I would be sitting in like a free-form standing motion up there. If I'm up there for 4 hours, does my landing spot change?
No, because you're using a force to maintain that lift. If you turn off the engine, what happens? People think that the helicopter moves down to the Earth, but it's actually the Earth that moves up to the crashes into the helicopter. It's the Earth that crashes up to the helicopter.
So
that's why there's no measurable acceleration.
So if I jump off a building, it's not me who killed myself, it's the
Earth that crushed into you. Yep. That's the reality. And that's the biggest psyop on Earth.
Is it equal opposite? Like we're pushing down and it's pushing
That's what the globe Earth says.
Yeah.
But that's bullshit. You can have a force moving in opposite directions at the same time. That defies physics too.
I'm gonna look. Where can I look at? Where can I look into this?
Yeah. This is the most censored topic online, and that's why I'm out here. This is my channel.
Yeah.
Oh,
we'll take, you guys should take one each.
We're one unit.
That's the biggest lie on Earth. Not even the globe Earth. It's the fact that objects accelerate in free fall. I mean, the fact that they don't accelerate in free fall. You know, because now flat Earthers are claiming that they're keeping this idea alive. So all these flat Earthers are gatekeepers, basically.
Gatekeepers.
They're all bullshitters too online.
I hate flat Earthers.
Trust me, they're stubborn as fuck.
They're the dumbest people I think on the planet.
100%.
You know,
I agree,
dude.
I love going into it because it pisses people off.
You like to troll a little bit,
then. He's a troll. All right, man. What's your name?
William.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys, man. Thanks
Fun
for the
fact: with fuel tankers, since they have the liquid in here, they put in like circle. Like they'll weld in walls in between it and with little holes in the middle. Not little, but they're big. So when you do come to a stop, it's not like this.
It's not so much.
Yeah, so it crashes up against those.
Yeah, so again, reality, this is physics. That happens every time. But in free fall, it doesn't.
Smart
man. All right, man. Thank you, man. Yes, have a good one. Yeah, thank you. Again, people are smart, you know. This is not difficult, you know. This is very, 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 very easy, you know. It's the bias people have. It's the lies they were told when they were born, you know. Off the bat, you know, you're a child before you even go to school. Like they show the globe Earth left, right, and center, and all different cartoons. Again, because it only exists as a cartoon, you know. They'll show it, you know, at the beginning of every movie, you know. Hey, what's up, man? You want to give this a shot? Yeah, so 2 very easy questions, and let's see if you could get at least one. For sure you get both. Pretty easy, so In this first one, I have 3 water bottles, and I have them halfway filled with water, and I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it easier to see. I also added a ping pong ball in there just for fun. Another thing is that all of these water bottles are at rest. So put them in order. So how I'm showing them to you, what's the difference between these 3 water bottles?
How the box is oriented.
Okay, yeah. Can you put them in the orientation they should be? You can flip them. You got it. You got it. Perfect, you got it. How did you know?
Looks like it's in a box.
Yeah, but how did you know that's the correct orientation?
The water's got to be on bottom.
Exactly, the water has to be in the bottom. Exactly, that's a fact. You know, that's basic physics. You know, so you got it. You got the first one. So the second one, again, one more. Again, I have a box truck halfway filled with water again, except in this one, only one is at rest, one is accelerating forward, and one is accelerating in reverse. So which one is at rest?
B.
Yeah, what would you say B?
Because the water's not moving.
Exactly. And which one's accelerating forward?
A.
What would you say A?
Because it's going to push the water to the back.
Yeah, because water will always push back in the opposite direction the container accelerates, right? Even, it doesn't matter, well, you know, even when I accelerate down, the water wants to push up, right? So let me ask you this, when I release this into free fall, do you believe gravity moved it to the ground, this bottle, like accelerated down?
Yeah.
Yeah? So when we actually accelerate down versus free fall, we can see that in acceleration, we can see the displacement of actual acceleration and the effects of it. In free fall, there is no effects of acceleration or force, in other words.
Right.
So I don't know if you knew, gravity is just theory. So they never actually measure the cause or effects of acceleration in free fall. So it's just all made up. So the fact is, the Earth is not pulling you down by this magical force. It's actually the Earth pushing up against you right now. So the Earth is a level plane that's literally pushing up against you right now. So do you believe the Earth is a globe?
Yeah.
So if we could prove that it's the Earth, you know, pushing up against you and not pulling you down, and up is relative on a ball, you know, in every direction, how can the Earth be moving up on a ball?
It's expanding.
Exactly, it would have to be expanding, which wouldn't work. The Earth would just explode.
Right.
So the globe Earth requires that people believe that objects accelerate down in free fall. So one of the biggest psyops, again, is that lie, that objects accelerate down in free fall. And now, have you heard of flat earthers, right?
Yeah.
So here's the psyop. Over 95% of flat earthers claim the Earth is motionless. So they also believe in this magical force that accelerates objects down in free fall. So flat earthers are keeping this idea of gravity alive as well. So they're basically gatekeeping. You know, over 95% of flat earthers are bullshitters, especially content creators, and they're basically just keeping this whole thing, you know, static, you know, for lack of a better term. So again, they're claiming that they're keeping the whole idea of gravity alive, which keeps the whole globe Earth model alive. The fact is that Earth is pushing up against you, which wouldn't work on a globe, so it literally debunks the globe from the start. So, you know, so you've heard of this topic before, right?
No.
Flat Earth, you never heard of flat Earth? Yeah? What do you, how long ago did you hear about it?
I don't know.
Not too long? Right. So yeah, so just know that flat earthers, if you come across any other flat earth, ask them, is the Earth motionless or not? And they're going to say yes, because again, this is the heaviest, you know, censored topic online, like the most by far. And again, they want people to keep this idea of life of objects accelerating in free fall, but you know, that's not the reality. You know, so do you have any questions for me about this topic? No? All right, let me give you a flyer, and maybe you have some free time, you can check it out. That's my YouTube channel. And yeah, man, I appreciate the chat. All right, thank you. Oh my God, I don't have a straw.
Well, I'm in college, of course I'm smart at it.
No, that's good. I'm pretty sure you are. Yeah. You want to give this a shot too?
You can ask me like...
Okay, so... Yeah. So 2 very easy questions, and they have to do with water. Very easy.
Water's blue.
Yeah, you got that one. So 3 water bottles here. Again, the water's blue.
So what's this
filled.
for YouTube or what?
Yeah, I could give you the channel after you check it out. So again, these 3 water bottles are at rest, but how I'm showing them to you, what's the difference between them?
Gravity right here is fucked up. That's what it is.
Why? All of these bottles, again, they're at rest. You know, they're all sitting still.
What do you mean at rest? Like,
they're just
is this
sitting
the bottom? Is this the bottom? Is this the bottom?
Well, that's up to you to figure out. That's the whole point of this question. Where's the bottom here in this one?
Are these photos Photoshop?
No, they're just real photographs. I'll give you a hint. I took a picture of one like this, and one like this. Can you identify which one's which?
I mean, according to gravity, shit.
Which one's the one I took upside down? Which one of the bottles should be upside down right now?
Hold up. The ball has to do something with it.
Well, yeah, the ball floats on top of the water. How about that? So if the ball floats on top of the water, what's the correct position
Okay, so
of this
the ball
one?
floats on top of the water, then this should be like this.
Yeah, if this one's correct, you could say. So how would this one be then?
The ball is just heavier.
Alright. But the ball's not heavier. It's the same ball. Yeah, I'll help you out a bit.
Oh, I know what it is. The water's clear right here, and the bottle's blue.
No,
Nah, I'm just kidding.
I took it upside down like this.
I knew it, but I thought it was
Just too easy, or what? You just thought it was too easy? Okay.
Wait, are you being for real?
Yeah.
Bro, I knew that. I just didn't want to say it because then like.
You thought you were gonna feel stupid.
Yeah.
No, that's
I thought
what
it
it
was,
is.
deeper.
You thought it was deeper? No,
Yeah.
it's very simple. This is elementary stuff. You know, how would this
Wait.
one go then?
Obviously like this, right?
Yeah, on its side. Yeah. You got it, man. No, the point is that you got it. You know, that's the whole what matters. One more and then you're good. This one is probably easier.
Are you a student here?
No, I'm not a student. I'm just coming here to challenge the students. So again, a box truck halfway filled with water, except one is at rest, one is accelerating forward, and one is accelerating in reverse.
Oh, rest, forward, backwards.
You got it. How do you know that?
Because when you go forward, you like the water kind of goes like back, right?
Yeah, it goes in the opposite direction. You
Yeah.
accelerate. So again, we could demonstrate that 100% of the time. You know,
Yeah.
even when I accelerate down, the water wants to move up.
Now that you showed me this one is like simple. Now I don't have to like think hard on this. Like just common
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, exactly. So again, when I actually release this into free fall, though, for example, like this, do you believe gravity accelerated down, like from being at rest to accelerating down?
What do you mean?
So do you believe gravity pulls this to the ground when I release it?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you believe the Earth is a globe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
so fair enough. So when we actually accelerate versus free fall, when I actually accelerate again, the water pushes up and we can clearly see the effects of acceleration and the fact that there's a force being applied. In free fall, on the other hand, there is no force being applied because there's no
Wait, what's the
displacement.
difference between this and this?
That the water's displacing when it accelerates. It wants to move up in the opposite direction
Wait,
of
this one
acceleration.
you're just dropping it, or
Yes, this
and
one's-
And what about this one?
This one I'm accelerating it down.
Oh yeah.
So my
yeah.
point is that in free fall, it's not actually accelerating down. They tell us that it is by this magical force of gravity, but I don't know if you knew gravity is just a theory. So they never actually measured a force or any effects of a force in free fall because there isn't. So the fact is, when you release this
So
into free
gravity's
fall,
not real.
it's not real. So it is real, but it's not a pull of the Earth, it's a push of the Earth. So what happens is we're already moving right now because the Earth is pushing up against you. So when I release this doesn't move to the ground, it's the ground that moves up to it. So that's why this doesn't accelerate or detect any acceleration down because it's not accelerating down. It's the Earth that's literally moving up to meet it.
Uh-huh.
So if up is relative on a globe, how can the Earth be moving up on a globe?
Hey, what?
If up is relative on a globe, right? Because up is, up from China is the opposite direction of us, right?
Yeah.
How can the Earth be moving up simultaneously all over the Earth if it's a ball?
Shit, I
It
don't know. You
couldn't.
got me there.
It would have to be expanding, which means it has to grow and it would explode. So in other words, it wouldn't work. So this whole idea of gravity, it's required for people to believe that the Earth is a globe. So without this idea of gravity being a pulling force, the globe Earth doesn't exist.
So you think the Earth is flat, or?
Or it's not
No.
flat either because flat is nothing to do with orientation and the Earth has orientation. And in order for something to have orientation, it needs motion. So the Earth is literally moving up, so it's not flat, it's level. Level is an orientation.
What's level?
Level is horizontal, which is perpendicular to the vertical, which is the Earth's motion. So the vertical
So
is,
the Earth is like this.
yes, the Earth is like this and it's literally pushing up like that. So it's not
Isn't
a
that
globe.
the same thing as flat?
No, because over 95% of flat earthers claim the Earth is motionless. So they also believe in this magical gravity force. So they're literally keeping this whole idea of gravity alive, which is keeping the whole globe Earth idea alive as well. In other words, motionless flat earthers are gatekeepers.
So what shape do you think it is?
I know it's level.
It's level. Yeah, what does that mean? Like
Horizontal.
level?
The definition for level is horizontal.
Yeah, horizontal. So what, like this?
Across the way.
Across the way.
Yes, all the way, and nobody's been to the end of the Earth. So there is an end to the Earth.
Yeah, I'm trying to see it.
I'm just trying to see your explanation. Like you say, it's level.
Level.
So what? This is the shape.
Yes.
So you're saying the
Like
shape
this.
is one.
Well, it has mountains,
long?
valleys. I don't know if it's a circle. I don't know if it's a square. I don't know. I don't know the dimensions of it.
So what, like
but
fucking Minecraft, where it's just one continuously expanding plane.
The Earth has air pressure. You acknowledge that, right? 14.7 psi here on Earth, and it decreases the higher you go.
Yeah.
So in order to have or maintain air pressure, you require containment. So the air here on
Like
Earth,
the atmosphere.
it requires a physical containment, exactly.
So the atmosphere.
The atmosphere requires containment, exactly.
Okay,
So
yeah.
when you're saying that, oh, it's like Minecraft, it just extends infinitely, it doesn't. There has to be an endpoint because air is being contained. That's how it's able to maintain pressure.
But I'm still trying to figure out what your explanation is on the level.
Yeah, the level.
You say it's leveled. What does that mean? Like, what is the shape you're describing? Level.
Well, the level is not really a shape; it's an orientation.
It's an orientation. So so we just like a flat, leveled plane.
You could say that.
Circling the sun.
No. That's the whole model, the whole heliocentric model of space balls and all that. Oh, that's all made up as well.
I just want to picture me what your model of the Earth is.
I don't have a model. I just know that it's level.
What do you think is
I think it is a globe.
Would you agree, though, that the globe Earth requires physical downwards acceleration of objects in free fall? It requires it, right? Because if it's the Earth pushing up instead, how would that work on a globe?
Because of how big the Earth is, to our perspective, we can't really see this. Gravity goes up, Earth goes up.
Yeah, so you've heard of buoyancy, right? So when you have like a beach
Yeah.
ball underneath a pool and you let it go, what direction does it go? Helium balloon. When you let it go, what direction does it go?
Because helium is lighter than
Exactly.
carbon.
So let me show you this real
Oxygen.
quick. So I have a helium balloon here in a cargo van, and I accelerated the cargo van. I also have an apple there. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
So helium gets pushed in the direction I accelerate because the air is more dense. So when I accelerate the van, the air inside the van is also moving in that same direction because the van's moving it. So the air is able to push anything that's less dense, like the helium balloon, in that same direction. It's not dense enough to push the apple, so the apple only appears to swing in the opposite direction. So buoyancy shows us the direction of the force. So when we release a helium balloon here on Earth, it's the same principle. So the air is pushing it up, but the air cannot push itself up. So it's the Earth that's pushing up the air, which is pushing up the helium. Same principles right here. When I accelerate the van.
I don't see how that Earth is pushing up relates to it being level, though.
Well, level, put it this way, there is no measurable curvature on Earth, for example. So do you know the dimensions of the Earth that they tell us?
Measurable?
Yeah. So the Earth claims that they have that the radius of the Earth is 3,959 miles, which means that there has to be curvature every mile. So in the first mile, it should be an inch drop, second mile 32 inches, and by the third mile, it should be 6 feet of curvature. So if we go to actual reality, physically measure for this curvature, water, when it's contained and at rest, will always be level on the surface, which is horizontal. Again, this is what, if we went to a giant lake, this is what it would show, that it's level, the surface, but they're trying to tell us that it's actually curving at this rate, which doesn't exist.
Okay, but like, see it as like this.
Yeah.
The Earth is so big.
Well, this is the dimensions, not so big.
So, relatively to us,
fair enough.
it is very big.
Fair enough.
So even relatively, we are small.
Sure.
So we are so small
Right.
that by the time that our perspective sees us continuously going flat.
Sure. So I agree. Visually, it'll be hard to see a curvature over 3 miles, but physically, we should be able to measure that 6-foot drop over a body of water, because that's what they're claiming. In 3 miles, they should be 6 feet, and in 10 miles, they should be 66 feet. You know how tall that is? Like over a 6-story building. And there are lakes that are easily over 10 miles across. So they're trying to tell us that the beginning of the lake and the end of the lake are 66 feet in difference, which that defies physics. Water doesn't have the ability to form a hump and maintain that hump. Water always collapses and forms an equal surface.
Well, you know how you see when you go out into the ocean and you see a boat, right? It
Sure.
goes continuously across the ocean. You see it go down.
It appears to
go
go
down.
Yeah.
I think that is this curve, that's hump that you're
Okay.
thinking of.
Fair enough.
From here, where you're standing here, the boat is you're standing here. The boat is here. The boat continuously goes and goes and goes and goes down.
Yeah.
From our perspective, the boat would go farther.
Would appear to do that, right?
Shorter, and it will end up being gone. That's why, like.
Let me ask you this real quick. It's gonna be answering that question. Do you think we have infinite vision? So like if I was to hold this bottle and move it away from you, what's gonna happen?
No, we don't have infinite vision. That's why the mountains you see goes from the closest mountains you can see the brown and the detail in the ground. But when you go further and further out, you see the mountains, they're bluer and more faded. Sure. So we do not have infinite.
Exactly. So my thing is that the horizon is not the curvature of the Earth, is our limit of perspective. Because the horizon, I don't know if you knew, is relative. It's not an actual thing. So you could have a horizon, your horizon, but if I elevate 10 feet from you, I have a different horizon. You know?
Hey bro, I'm gonna get going.
Yeah, appreciate the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Take it. Here, take my channel. You know, give it a look.
Oh yeah, I have to go to my class
no worries.
starts.
No worries.
What is this? So what are you arguing actually about?
So the Earth is, yeah, I'm live right now. Yeah, so the globe Earth is a lie.
Oh, so that's you're seeing. Hold on.
This one's live.
Oh, it's not
so
on
you're
there.
just
It's
seeing
not
that
on here.
camera.
Yeah, this
Okay.
will be probably replayed, the edited version. So the my whole thing here is I'm debunking the globe Earth by the fact that there's no physical downwards acceleration. Yeah.
I wouldn't really call that.
You see the latest one?
Oh, this person is doing his best to deny reality.
Wait,
You're talking about you.
You're talking to me.
No, yeah, but I mean, it's not an easy subject to talk about. So the fact that you guys are here, you know, and speaking about it,
I wouldn't really consider this. Are you smarter than a fifth grader?
Well, it's elementary
feels more
physics.
like this feels more like theoretical stuff. So I wouldn't really consider this. Are you smarter than a fifth grader?
Well, it's physics, you know. Displacement always happens when you accelerate a container.
Do you even
100%.
remember what you were taught in fifth grade? Like what they told you about?
It's not even. That's the thing, though. The reason why I put that is because a 10-year-old can understand these principles. So that's the whole point that I use it. I understand that schools nowadays are dumbing people down, so a fifth grader might not be as smart as they should be.
So he's just clearly telling us that we're dumb.
I mean, no offense. You know, I came from that belief too. You know, I used to believe in the globe for 24 years of my life, and I realized that it was a lie. So hey, appreciate it, man.
Well,
yeah,
to dumb us down, then it would probably be better if you give us an actual like object to see what your idea of the Earth looks like.
Well, that's the thing. I don't have a model. I think anybody that's pushing a model right now is bullshit because nobody knows exactly what the Earth is. I don't know what it exactly is. All I know is that the surface is level and it's moving up. It's
Tell
pushing.
me.
That's all I know.
But tell me, so what do you think about the pictures of the Earth that were taken?
Yeah. So
in space.
So
Satellites.
NASA even admits that they're not real photographs. But even if they did admit, if I showed you a picture of me flying, would you believe I could fly?
No.
What if I showed you a video of me flying?
No.
No, right? So any claim or any picture or video that you show me that defies physics, in my opinion, it's automatically fake, you know?
But tell me, has the pictures, sure, like, obviously NASA, like, would photo edit to make the Earth more, like, maybe a little more colorful, a little more blue than, say, a faded one. But tell me, has there any, like, even, like, the photos from all the way in the 60s, has they been, like, fully acceptably debunked?
Oh, easily. So the only one that claim is real is from the moon landings from 1972. But not only does that image defy physics, because again, water doesn't have the ability to bend like this. And again, we could go to any body of water, any size, the water will never display curvature on the surface.
I'm trying to think. Isn't there a current live stream of an astronaut on the satellite?
I would say that's all green screens and CGI. So it's Hollywood trickery.
Even our best CGI can't really see the scope like this.
I would say the NASA CGI is way worse than actual movies. You should pay attention. You know, it's very amateur for some, which is kind of weird because they have a pretty big budget, over 70 million a day.
But I've seen, like, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Movies currently, even if they have a lesser budget, you're saying NASA's effects are worse than movie budgets.
Yes.
However, you've seen movies, they talk about their water physics, but there's always at least something that VFX artists can see are VFX. Even for something like, say, someone stepping in a puddle, someone would have to actually step in the puddle
to get the effect of a water.
To get the effect of a puddle.
I agree.
I just can't see this whole Earth is leveled, given the fact that all this evidence that you're seeing.
Well, let me ask you this.
Let
me ask you this, because I know you're kind of stuck on the level. What's your definition of level? If I was to ask you, like, what would be your definition of something that's a level?
I don't know. I guess whatever this bubble says.
Okay.
isn't level.
There you go.
I like that.
Okay, but what's your definition if you had to put it into words? I have two definitions, and you can agree or disagree, but I want to hear yours.
See, to describe the definition of a leveled, I guess it would be if it's flat.
I would say, if you could look it up, the one word definition for level will be horizontal. And again, horizontal is an orientation, which is perpendicular to the vertical. The vertical is the motion vector, but it's not down. The vector's not down, it's up. So again, the earth is not pulling you down, it's pushing up on you. You know, that's the fact. And again, the globe earth requires that people believe it's the other way around, because the globe earth wouldn't work without that belief. So it's literally that simple to debunk. You know, buoyancy shows you that the force is up. And that's why helium balloons go up, because the air is pushing the helium balloon and the earth is pushing up the air. It's a chain reaction of motion.
I'd say the reason why a balloon goes up is because the helium is lighter than the air, so there's nothing that can, so gravity can't really drag it as down.
But that's the thing, the air being more dense than helium, when you put a container into free fall, the helium has nowhere to go. Because just simply air being more dense than helium doesn't give a vector. You need something external to that matter to give a vector. You know, because matter cannot move on its own. So what's the vector? Where's the vector coming from that's creating this air pushing up the helium? That's the question. Where's that force coming from? The fact is that force is only detectable and measurable when we're connected to the earth physically. In free fall, that force vanishes. So again, in free fall, there is no force accelerating anything down, because nothing goes down. It's the earth that catches up to everything. So again, when you're in free fall, again, you're falling behind. You're not really falling down, you're just falling behind, and the earth catches up.
What do you call this then? Going down?
Yeah, that goes up, and then it just decelerates, and it appears to go back down because you're moving up to it.
Well, the reason why is, say you throw this ball in space, there's no gravity pushing it down, so it will continuously keep going.
But you believe that there's this gravity pushing it down, but the fact is, inertia, you know, you've heard of inertia, right? So in inertia, matter wants to remain motionless. It wants to remain at rest. So when you toss it up, you apply a force, so it goes up, but then instantly, because of inertia, it starts to lose momentum because it wants to remain motionless.
Yes, inertia goes up, and then gravity becomes greater than the energy you give it, thus making it go down.
Right, but again, you interpret that when you toss it up, that ball comes back down. The fact is, when you toss it up, it just decelerates and you catch up to it. That's the fact.
I wouldn't really call it like a theory or perspective, given the law of gravity.
I would say that the theory of gravity is just based on perspective. It's not based on actual physics. Physics shows that gravity is not a force, and that the force is actually the push up of the earth. Again, that's what physics shows physically. Again, optically, you can interpret that as an acceleration down, but that's not what's actually happening.
Well, you know? I'm not really convinced.
Oh no, I don't expect to convince you. You know,
I would like to see you argue a physics professor, like someone who actually has decades of their experience.
I actually did have a conversation with a physics professor, or a scientist, I guess he claimed to be, and it's on my channel. You could check it out. It's like 40 minutes long. So yeah, I mean, if you're interested. but yeah.
What is this?
So.
Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Yo, if anyone wants to harass me about my beliefs of a globe Earth, look up Cyberstar CT. Argue all you want.
Nice one.
Yo, how's it going?
How's it going, man? I'm William, by the way.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You guys want to try this? You guys can do it all together. You didn't watch? Okay, so 2 very easy questions.
Okay.
And let's see if you could get them, you know, at least one, right? So this first one, I have 3 water bottles, and they're halfway filled with water, obviously, and I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it easier to see. I also threw a ping pong ball in there just for fun. So all of these bottles are at rest, but how I'm showing them to you, what's the difference between them, all 3 of them?
This one's laying down on the side, this one's on right side up, this one's upside down.
So you would say upside down like this, and this one's on its side, right? Yeah, you got it. So how did you know that?
Based on how the ping pong ball is resting.
Right? Obviously the water too, right? The water goes down, and the less dense goes up, which is the ping pong ball, right? Yeah, perfect. You got it. So that was pretty easy. So this next one is probably a little easier. So 3 box trucks here, and they're halfway filled with water. Except one of these is at rest, one is accelerating forward, and one is accelerating in reverse. So which one is at rest?
This one, B.
Okay, why would you say that one?
Because it's like flat.
Right, it's still, the water's still, you know, it's at rest, you could say. Which one's accelerating forward?
This one.
Yeah, you got it. How did you know?
that the water's back, and when you go forward,
the water goes in the opposite direction
Yeah.
of the container's acceleration, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because again, you could show that 100% of the time. You know, even when I accelerate down, the water wants to move up. So here's the question, the big question. When I release this into free fall, do you believe gravity accelerated down to the earth?
No.
No? What do you think happened?
No, actually, I do.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So when we actually test acceleration versus free fall, here, I did it in some motion just to make it easier to see. Can you tell which one I actually accelerated down and which one's in free fall?
The one on the right?
Yeah, because we can actually see the effects of a force being accelerated down. The water wants to move up. Again, that's what always happens. In free fall, however, there is no measurable force or effects of a force, because the fact is that objects don't accelerate in free fall. So did you know that gravity is just a theory?
Why?
Because they've never measured a physical downwards acceleration.
But is it 9.8 meters over second squared?
That's a measure of a change in velocity. So the change in velocity is not happening because the object accelerating down. It's happening because the Earth is catching up to the object. So that's the change in velocity.
So is 9.8 fake?
9.8 meters per second is real, but it's not an acceleration. It's a deceleration rate.
Deceleration?
It's a deceleration rate. So right now, what happens
Wouldn't
is
it be negative if it's
no.
deceleration?
So right now, when you release an object into free fall, you believe that the object got pulled down by pulling force of gravity, right?
Right.
The fact is, the force is a push. So the Earth is pushing up against you. So when you release an object, it's the Earth that comes up to the object. It's not the object that comes down to the Earth. So that's
like if I drop my phone, the Earth is actually coming up to catch the phone.
Yes. And because you're connected to the Earth, you're also moving up with the Earth.
Wait, that can make sense. Wait.
That's reality, bro.
Really?
Yes. So Einstein's theory of relativity and Newton's theory of relativity, they're both wrong because they both claim downwards acceleration. You heard of flat Earth, right?
Yeah.
So over 95% of flat Earthers also believe in downwards acceleration because they claim the Earth is motionless. So they're literally keeping this whole idea of gravity alive, which is keeping the whole globe Earth idea alive as well. So all of these flat Earthers are gatekeepers.
Are gatekeeping?
Yes, they're gatekeeping.
They're gatekeeping
the gravity, yeah. They're globe Earthers in disguise. Flat Earthers.
So then who are the actual flat Earthers?
Me. Well, I'm not a flat Earther. I'm a realist. The Earth is level, not flat.
What does that mean?
That means the Earth is moving up. Because in order to have orientation, you require motion.
It's not a sphere.
It's not a sphere. It's a level plane.
Why do we have time zones then?
Time zone is because of the sun's motion.
But
time
if it's
is
flat, what if it's flat? Wouldn't the sun be like...
No. Well, the sun, the whole heliocentric model is a lie. They're telling you that the sun is 93 million miles away and 500,000 miles in diameter. The fact is, it's actually very small and very local. So nobody knows the exact size or distance, but it's very local. And it moves like a spotlight over the Earth. Nobody knows the exact motion of the sun, though.
With them, like... Huh.
So yeah, it's just a spotlight.
What about the satellites up there that showing
it's all CGI.
CGI?
Yeah.
But it's been there since the 60s.
That's what they claim. Have you seen the CGI from the 60s? It's pretty bad. Like, you know, like their little movie productions that they do. Like, even the moon landing, oh my god, it's a joke.
Wait.
It's a joke.
Okay, that's actually crazy.
It is.
Okay, well, thanks for talking with me.
Yeah, man. If you guys want to check out my channel.
Yeah. Are you going to post me on the channel?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh,
yeah, check it out.
Thank you.
I'm live streaming this one, but the edited version will show you guys.
Okay, appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, man.
Okay.
You know. Yeah, there you go. Check it out.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. You guys take care.
Have a good day.
All right. See that? That actually makes sense, you know, because it does, because it's reality. Wait, objects don't go down as the Earth moves up. It's like you see that light bulb, like, holy shit, that makes sense, you know, and it's like, you know, that's what you want to see. That's, you know, that's honesty there, you know. And, you know, even though he might have that belief of a globe, you know, he's not denying practicality that contradicts that belief. He's actually open to it, you know, and it's great to see that, you know. So, yeah, it's been pretty good. I mean, I lost count of how many conversations I've had already, so that's cool. Yeah, so far it's nothing but positive responses, like no trolling, you know. Again, I don't mind the trolls, you know, at the end of the day. You know, the trolls only expose themselves at the end of the day, but again, just stay level-headed, stay grounded, you know. And yeah, everything will sort itself out. No compression in free fall. What about natural displacement? Oh, that's the jolly, man. Oh my gosh. I need to read comments before reading them out loud. Shifty Eye Shady, what up? Martin Allen, City, Boom Me. Thanks, JC. Again, just focusing on that there's no physical downwards acceleration is literally all you need to destroy the globe Earth and expose the flat Earth psyop as well. You know, just like all the effects here on Earth, you only require one force. You only require one proof to debunk both models. Literally, you know, that's all it takes. You know, understanding, you know, what causes, you know, the density and buoyancy, the weight, the orientation, the pressure gradient, you know, all these effects that we experience here on Earth. Once you understand that it's actually motion, the container that's pushing up against all these materials, creating those effects, once you understand that, the globe Earth and the motionless flat Earth are dead, you know. You know, they're done. You know, it becomes ridiculous, you know, and it should just be ridiculed. You know, something that is ridiculous should be ridiculed, you know, especially if it can be backed up. If it can be practically demonstrated, then yeah, that's all you deserve, ridicule, you know. How can you be taken serious, you know? Like, so that's that. Yeah, I think having the little prop, right, like this, a little ball, when you're talking about upwards motion, it's cool because, again, it kind of puts it into perspective, right? If up is relative on a ball, how can the Earth be moving up? You know, it's like when people just, you know, you could see people's brains just kind of like go, like they get stuck in a way. Like, you know, a lot of them say it's this, oh, it's because it's spinning, but a spin is not upwards motion. It's circular motion. You know, it's like the Earth will be moving on, you know, sideways. If anything, the ground will be moving sideways, not up. You know, and that's the thing. The Earth is moving up. So again, when people say, oh, because it's spinning, that still doesn't make sense. Like, that still doesn't mean the Earth is moving up. You know, but I get it. You know, people are trying to cling on to this. Not everybody, you know, some people will admit, or it wouldn't work, or it will have to be expanding, you know, which is the reality. You know, it would have to be expanding, which will eventually the Earth would explode itself within seconds. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's just so retarded, you know. So that's all you need, man, to understand this simple fact. You know, everything else, in my opinion, is like, you know, water being level. It's a good proof, you know, to, you know, Euclidean geometry, the horizon, you know, all of these other proofs. They're still good proofs, right? But the fact that there's no physical downwards acceleration trumps all that easily by far. It's like the one thing that literally destroys the whole heliocentric model, like literally, single-handedly. That simple fact single-handedly destroys not only the whole heliocentric model, but the whole idea of this retarded motionless flat Earth, you know. So there's something for people to think about, you know. And if you're not on board yet, you know, I suggest you get on board, especially if you're going to be in this truth community or this truth movement, whatever people want to call it. You know, if you're truly honest and you're truly in this for the truth, then you need to get on board with this, you know. If you don't, then you're no different than these gatekeepers, in a way. Not that you're, you know, getting paid, or, you know, or an agent, or, you know, or gatekeeping. You know, you're literally be gatekeeping subliminally or unintentionally, in other words, because of your own bias, because of your own beliefs, because you're being dishonest, you know. So again, if you're truly an honest person and you're in this for the truth, you need to accept these facts, you know, of the Earth's motion, plain and simple. You know. Hey, what's up, man? All right, so 2 very easy questions, and let's see if you guys can get them, you know.
Oh, thank you.
They have to do with water, both of them, very easy, nice. You know. So this first one here, I have 3 water bottles, and I have them halfway filled with water, and I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it easier to see, and I also added a red ping pong ball in there for fun. So another thing is that all of these water bottles are at rest, but how I'm showing them to you, what's the difference between them?
I guess the angle at which you're holding
the bottle?
Yes, the bottle.
Yeah, you got it. Can you put them in the angle they should be, I guess? Yeah. You got it. That's pretty good. So how did you know that, kind of ask?
The water's at the bottom.
Yes.
Gravity.
Exactly, yeah. The water always should be in the bottom.
Yes.
Exactly. You got it, yeah. Yeah. So if I showed you this and I told you it was right side up, that's a lie. You know,
yeah.
That defies physics.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's pretty good, man. All right, so this next one's a little bit easier in my opinion, but we'll see. So in this one, I have 3 box trucks, again, halfway filled with water, except in one of these is at rest, one is accelerating forward, and one is accelerating in reverse. Which one's at rest?
Accelerating forward, rest.
Reverse. Okay, perfect. How did you know that?
Because, you know, as you accelerate,
the water would push back.
Pushes. Yes. Yeah, 100% of the time, water will always push back in the opposite direction. Even when I accelerate down, the water pushes up, you know? So if I was to release this into free fall, do you guys believe gravity accelerates this down to the earth?
Oh, you're saying like
in free fall? Yeah. So if I release this into free fall, you believe gravity accelerates it down to the ground, right?
Yes.
So if we go into actual physics, you know, and measure, you know, and I actually accelerate the bottle down, we can actually, you know, detect that there is a force present by the fact that the water is displacing. Again, the water wants to move up in the opposite direction of acceleration.
Right. It's just faster than gravity, right?
Okay, but here's the thing, though. Gravity, this kind of acceleration without any effects of acceleration or cause, basically shows that there is no acceleration in free fall.
Well, the difference is one of them. Well, there's acceleration in both of them, but you're adding acceleration in the second one.
Okay, so you're saying that acceleration without displacement can exist. So you're claiming that B can be accelerating.
It can be accelerating if it's in free fall without added acceleration going downwards.
I would say that that's special pleading, because you would need another demonstration to show this kind of acceleration.
Well, I mean, what is acceleration?
Acceleration is increase in velocity per second. So the distance traveled per second is greater.
So if you drop your water bottle, right, and you don't add additional force like in the second video, would you say that the velocity is increasing downwards?
I would say it's a visual interpretation that there is an acceleration of a free-falling object, but the change in velocity that we witness is a deceleration. So what's happening is when you release an object into free fall, it's not the object being pulled by the Earth's gravity. It's actually the Earth pushing up. So when you release this, it's the Earth that comes up to meet it. So this never moves down.
I guess. Well, would you agree that like, I guess the general theories of gravity that like objects are it's like it's not one is attracted to the other; they're both attracted to each other. Right?
Well, 9.8 meters per second, right? It's the alleged acceleration in free fall.
Right.
You know how fast that is?
And like visually?
In miles per hour. So in the first second, it's 22 miles an hour. In the second second, it's 87 miles an hour. So that's the kind of acceleration they're claiming in free fall by this 9.8 meters per second squared. If we were to accelerate half that distance vertically, I mean horizontally, we get the displacement. Again, this is only 4 feet. If I accelerate 4 feet, not even 4 feet, 2 feet, in 1 second, we get that displacement. So how is it that we're supposed to believe that this can accelerate down, you know, at 78 miles an hour in 2 seconds without that displacement?
Well, I feel like it's hard to visualize here because when you drop it from around here, right, that's not even a second.
Well, even if you dropped it from the top of that building, that water's never going to displace. The water will never move up, even though they're claiming.
Yeah, well, because the bottle and the water are displacing at the same rate.
Yeah, so you're claiming that this force can accelerate everything in the container, like it's
like
glued,
the whole
like
thing
it's
is accelerating the same rate down.
So you're claiming that this force can glue all the molecules together and accelerate them without displacing. So like it's frozen.
It doesn't have to glue, like when you're dropping it here, right? Obviously, there is still some like minor movement in the water.
Well, that's because the water's always moving. You know, it has to be.
Like if you're sitting it straight without any movement.
Like right now, look, you can see that it's moving. It takes a while to be completely at rest, and even when it's at rest, there's still motion within the water. So I get what you're saying, but what I'm talking about is the displacement, the reorientation of matter within the container. That's what happens when we accelerate. Matter reorientates relative to the direction of the force. In free fall, we don't have that reorientation because there is no acceleration. I don't know if you knew, gravity is just a theory. And a theory means it hasn't been proven, it's just an idea. So
I still think it can be useful. Like there's certain things that you obviously can just never prove, but it simplifies and explains a lot of things.
Well, what if we can't prove that it's actually the Earth moving up and it's not objects moving down?
I mean, I would probably, obviously I probably haven't heard your argument as to why, but
I can explain it very easy.
Yeah, sure, but just the reason I guess I would say is that the proofs for gravity, as we know it right now, like technically it's not even that. Like I would say the reason we call it a theory is not because we don't have a lot of evidence and scrutiny to say that, hey, this is something that's consistently true.
Sure.
It's more so that we have a very, very high barrier for what we don't consider a theory and like reality, right?
Sure.
So I would say that probably whatever proof you can give that gravity is a different way, like pushing upwards, is probably definitely also not sufficient to just be beyond a theory and just be reality.
Right. So here's real quick. I know you're saying, well, how can you prove that it's Earth's motion? Easily. So when you release a helium balloon, right? it has a buoyant effect, right? And what direction does the helium balloon go?
Relative to us, upwards.
Up, right? So I recreated buoyancy in a contained system here in a van, to be exact. So again, when I have a helium balloon and an apple hanging from a string, right? So when I accelerate the van is also moving the air in that same direction, and anything that's less dense than the air will also get pushed in that same direction I accelerate. So what direction would you say I accelerated here?
Forward, like this way.
Yeah, to the right, exactly, because the helium balloon is being pushed in that same direction, because the air is also being pushed in that same direction. The apple only appears to go in the opposite direction of the force because the apple wants to remain at rest. Because the air is not dense enough to push the apple like it did the helium. So the apple only appears to move back towards the back of the container or the wall or the van. So it's the same principles here on Earth. When you release a helium balloon and an apple, the helium balloon is being pushed up by the air, which is being pushed up by the Earth. The apple is more dense than the air, so the air is not able to keep pushing it up, so it starts to decelerate.
So you think it's about like density is why we're
the density, it just things that are more dense than the medium that surrounds it only appear to fall down because of inertia, because they want to remain motionless. And again, the medium.
I mean, obviously, like a lot of the general principles of like of gravity are more like planetary, right? It's like if we're just observing on just Earth, right? We would never be able to. I guess a lot of the proofs that we have for gravity, especially in like observing, other planets, right, and other like stars that we see in the universe, that wouldn't really be explained for. I feel like a lot of that comes from observation of like a much greater scale than we can observe from sitting here on the Earth.
Can we physically prove something just by observing it?
I don't know. I would say maybe.
I would say using vision alone, none of your other senses, just vision alone, you can easily be fooled. Because you could be looking.
I would agree with that, but I would also agree you could probably set it up to a point where it's beyond scrutiny, where like the potential to be fooled is reduced to like insignificance, right?
Right. Yeah. So what I've done a lot of tests that show that there is no force in free fall, and that force is actually the Earth's motion. So I would say that these are undeniable facts of reality that contradict what we're being told about the Earth. Now, am I going to go with what reality shows me and what can be recreated here on Earth to create the effects that we experience, or am I just going to go with man's interpretation of a theory that he can't prove or demonstrate in any other vector?
Well, I feel like most of the experiments that you can do, right? Like obviously whatever experiment that you're going to do, assuming gravity, in its theory is completely true, right? It's going to be explainable, right?
Yeah, sure.
So I would probably say that, okay, just to explain, I'm not like a physics major or anything. Like I have no extra knowledge of physics except for like what I took in high school.
Sure.
But I would probably assert that pretty confidently that the experiments that you do could probably be explained by like principles of gravity. Just maybe there's some sort of like either a misinterpretation or some sort of flaw in the design of the experiment.
Right.
Again, like I'm not a physics major, but I would probably say that if you were to approach, let's say, like a physics professor, right? I'm very confident that they would be able to explain whatever experiment, the outputs of whatever experiment.
I actually had a conversation, just 40 minutes, with a scientist, professor, I don't know. And it's on my channel, you can check it out after. But real quick, before you go, if we can physically prove, again, because buoyancy is an effect, in my opinion, of a contained system that's in motion, buoyancy showing you the direction of the force. If we can prove that it's the Earth pushing up on you and it's not pulling you down and it's literally moving up, and up is relative on a ball, how can the Earth be moving up if it's a ball?
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I'll probably just disagree with like the fact that you can.
You would just disagree that it's not moving up. But let's say hypothetically that I'm not telling you to accept, it wouldn't work, right?
It's moving up relative to us, right? But we're also on that like ball.
But
right?
if up is this way and this way and that way and that way, how can it move up simultaneously in those directions at the same time?
Well, that's like the theory of gravity, right?
Well, gravity is the opposite. They're claiming a force flow down towards the center. But if we could prove that that flow
not
doesn't
necessarily.
exist,
It's gravity is that we're attracted to, like, I'm attracted to the Earth, and the Earth is also attracted to me.
Towards the center, though. You're attracted towards the center of
the
Earth, right? My thing is, if we could prove that flow or that gravitational flow down towards the center doesn't exist and is actually the Earth moving up, the fact is it wouldn't work from a globe. So the globe Earth requires this idea or this theory of gravity being a pulling force.
I feel like there's a kind of disconnect here, because when you say moving up, you in principle are talking about something that I'm in principle probably like not thinking the same thing. Because when you say up, I think like up relative to us on the globe, right? But that's probably a separate thing, and like what you're talking about, like up, I guess, in reality.
Yeah.
So there might be like a difference in, I guess, language there when we're using like.
Well, that's the thing. An object can only move in one direction at the same time. This object cannot move up and down at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So the fact is the Earth has an upwards motion, again, only in one direction. And because the Earth is not a ball, it's actually a level plane, everybody's up is the same. It's all the same. So they're trying to tell us that everybody's up is relative.
I just wouldn't agree that like it's upward motion that's
causing buoyancy. And that's where this whole topic goes. What would be the mechanism of buoyancy in your mind? Can you recreate buoyancy with your alleged claim? Because I can recreate buoyancy again by accelerating a container with air, and something that's less dense than that gets pushed by the air because that's buoyancy.
I mean, I guess my default answer would just be like, well, again, I'm not really like educated in this matter, but like I probably don't even understand most of the concepts that revolve around buoyancy.
Right. Well, like let me just show you this one. It's similar to the van. The ping pong ball is red, and it's a steel ball. What direction do I accelerate here? Left or right?
Ping pong ball is red. You are accelerating to the left.
You got it, exactly. So a lot of people would interpret that the steel ball moved towards the wall of the container, but the fact is the wall of the container moved towards the steel ball.
Yeah.
And then the ping pong ball did move towards the container. Again, it's the same principles. When you release a steel ball here and a helium balloon, that steel ball didn't move down towards the Earth. It's the Earth that moved up. It's the same principle.
I'll definitely check out your YouTube video with the professor. Was that a physics professor? Or?
I'm pretty sure it was. You could check it out.
I definitely will. I'll take a picture.
Yeah. Sure.
Because obviously, like a lot of the concepts about like buoyancy and even simpler stuff than that, I probably like have never even studied.
No, you should look into it. It's very easy. Yeah, it's very easy to understand, man. You should check it out. But thanks for the conversation. Appreciate it.
Nice
nice to meet you too. Yeah, I ran out of flyers, and I have a lot at home. It's just that I forgot to put on my backpack, so I'm just having people scan this. Fuck it. See how much time I got. He kind of pushed back a little bit, but it's cool. It's understandable. I mean, I don't expect everybody to just jump on board right away, right? What I do expect is at least some level of honesty, right? I mean, we've seen, we heard, past conversations that I had today, most if not all, well, there was one guy that was kind of in denial, the one that talked to the camera, yeah, most people, kind of lost my train of thought there. Fuck it. Shit. Yeah, most people are definitely, trying to understand it, at the end of the day. Again, it helps, to have the demonstrations to show what you're actually talking about, to actually, help, paint the picture, in people's minds, So yeah, I mean, again, at the end of the day, it's consistency and persistence, right? Is that the right word? Staying persistent. Martin Andy, he's being stubborn. I mean, again, it's understandable, Not everyone's gonna jump on board right away. People are in different paths, in their own life, at the end of the day. But again, this being the most important truth on Earth, in my opinion, eventually people are gonna have to come across it. People are gonna have to face the music, I don't know if that's the correct term, but they're gonna have to eventually, I mean, they could stay ignoring it their whole lives, I guess, but eventually once it starts growing, which it is, I mean, how you're not gonna be able to ignore it for long, I mean, for 10 years, people have been trying to ignore this. The mainstream's been trying to ignore this for 10 years, and it's only growing. Not only that, the propaganda is also only growing. The bullshitters, the fucking stationary flat earthers, for that matter, they're on full force, So full force without a force, huh? So again, claiming acceleration without displacement is you're literally claiming acceleration without a cause and effect. There's no cause and effect, but believe me, it's accelerating. I'm being burned by fire right now, you know, and you know, I'm not smoky and I'm not charring, but believe me, I'm burning right now. Fire, I'm literally burning, you know. It's like claiming that, something like that. It's like there's no cause or effects of you being burned right now. But I'm supposed to believe you're literally being burned, your skin, you know, I guess, you know. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but because I know how people have skin disease and, you know, they can actually burn from the inside, right? But I'm talking about a legitimate fire, somebody claiming they're actually burning, you know, and you don't see any effects of their skin, you know, burning or smoke or anything. You know, you're supposed to believe it. I would say, you know, someone like that, it's a little crazy. Usually people that are on G, which is methamphetamine, they act really crazy like that. They'll act, you know, they start hallucinating. You know, again, they're creating causes and effects in their head and they think they're real. You know, no different than downwards acceleration. They're creating causes and effects that are not real. You know, it's not too far-fetched, you know. You know, so again, the people that obviously started the, you know, this lie, you know, obviously it was deliberate, you know. There's no way you just, you know, you just believe that and push it and all this shit. Like, there's no way. Like, what the fuck? So 100% it was deliberate. You know, who knows what kind of state of mind these people were, you know, when this whole lie was rolled out. But it is pretty crazy to, once you realize it and how easy it is to debunk, you know, that objects don't accelerate down in free fall is, it's just bizarre that, you know, that the majority, you know, we fell into it, you know, and it didn't happen right away, you know, it took generations, because I guarantee you, before NASA, you know, who knows what people actually believed and stuff like that, you know, who knows, you know, this whole globe earth lie can be relatively really new. It could literally be no longer than when, you know, around when NASA was established, for all we know, you know, I don't know. History can easily be changed and reworded, and, you know, so you can't really just, you can't trust history. When it comes to objective reality, you know, history cannot be trusted. You know, what can be trusted? Physics. Physics can be trusted, you know. So again, we go back to physics, you know, reality. Have something like this and it's accelerating, you know. We'll see the displacement, you know. Reality is not going to try and trick you and displace without acceleration, to try and trick you that it is accelerating, or the opposite, not displace when it's accelerating, just to try and trick you, to make you believe that it's not. Like, reality, matter doesn't have the ability to do that. Matter doesn't have the ability to change its principles, you know. So again, the separation of matter, you know, density and buoyancy, you know, are effects of a contained system that's in motion. You know, measurable, testable, repeatable, you know. So again, anybody that contradicts these principles, you know, they're full of shit, you know. And that goes with anybody claiming that there is a physical downwards acceleration, because reality shows that's not the case. Visually, people can interpret that as a downwards acceleration of the free-falling object, again, visually, but physically, that's not what's happening. Physically, you know, the earth and you are moving up to a free-falling object if you're standing on earth. You know, why? Because you're connected to the earth, which is pushing up on you already, so you're moving with the earth. So again, objects that only appear to go in the opposite direction of that motion, again, it's only an appearance, you know, it's only visual interpretation, you know, it's not real. You know, that motion downwards is not a real motion, it's not an actual acceleration, you know. That simple. Yeah, it's gonna be cool that that I kind of started doing those reaction videos with Nat. Also because, you know, when the rainy season comes too, and I'm not able to come out and, you know, do activism here, or, you know, in any other school because it's raining or whatever, you know, I'll still be able to do, you know, some live streams from home with Nat. So I feel like that's gonna be good, you know, at least for that time. Yeah, I mean, if anybody has any videos, any relevant videos of globe earth proofs about downwards acceleration, you know, globe earth proofs of the globe, or even motionless flat earthers, you know, proof of their downwards acceleration as well. Like, if anybody has any videos, you know, that you would want me to react to or give my opinion on, you know, send them to my email. It's levelheadedwilliam@gmail.com. It's here on the live in the bottom. But yeah, any videos that you think are relevant in general, just send them to me, and you know, and if they're, you know, worth going over, I'll go over them, you know. But yeah, you know, I think it's cool to kind of expose other people's logic, whether good or bad, you know, when it comes to this topic. So yeah, I mean, looking forward to that. If anybody has any videos that you know, you think I should react to, or that I think should be highlighted, you know, just send them over, and I'll make it happen, you know. So let me read some of the comments, I guess, while I wait. Yeah, I'm only gonna go for 2 hours, so I'll wait another 15-20 minutes. And to be honest, again, I already lost count of how many conversations I've had. I would think like 7, right? Maybe 6, I don't know. Maybe 6, yeah, not 7, who knows. Yeah, let me check the comments. Mark Gregory, the herd rarely considered the source, lacking discernment, pattern recognition, addled in a false sense of security over greeting sovereignty, self-determination, and freedom. Fair enough. Airship Bear, persistence, big time. Yeah, for real. If the seed wasn't the truth, I would and will not grow. Fair enough. Selenelian, a burning fireball 93 billion miles away. I think they say 93 million miles away. Oh, there you go. You corrected yourself. Was it billion or million? Yeah, I think it's million. Yeah, I forget now. I know. I mean, they can just add another 3 zeros to the sun and just add another 3 zeros to everything else in the model, right? You just add a 0 to the sun's distance and you just add a 0 to everything else too, right? And then it all adds up again, right? It is Newton's own laws of motion that debunk gravity. That's true, you know. That's why they have to add it. They had to add that second part to an object in motion. I mean, an object at rest will remain at rest unless there's a force acting on it. They had to add that second part of an object in motion will remain in motion in a vacuum unless there's a force acting on it, because they're utilizing that second part to try and dismiss the Earth's motion here on Earth. But again, we don't live in a vacuum. That second part is referring to a vacuum, you know. So that's how they mix in truth with lies, you know. Like same thing with gravity when they claim that it's a pull, right? It's a push or a pull. Again, only one of those is true, only the push part. And again, they throw in the pull in there, again, mixing in truth with lies, you know. Again, they do this very subtle, you know, and people need to be well grounded, you know, to be able to catch it. You know, if you're not, then it's just gonna fly over your head and you're just gonna accept everything that you're told, you know. So again, it comes back to practicality, what can be demonstrated, what can be recreated. That is the reality. If a claim defies these simple facts, these simple principles of reality, then those claims are bullshit, you know. All right, man. Literally that simple, you know. Literally that simple. So yeah, it's bizarre, man. I mean, it's crazy because before this whole topic, like, brainwashing to me was kind of like it only existed in movies, right? Like, oh, you can only be brainwashed if somebody's holding like a little pendulum in front of you and swinging it back and forth, right? Like, that's what they depict brainwashing as. So when people, you know, people get told like, oh, you're just brainwashed, right? Or they can't even entertain that because in their head it's like, I'm not brainwashed, I didn't get hypnotized, right? Or and then the irony is that brainwashing actually is not this fucking little fucking pendulum swinging back and forth. That's not how people get brainwashed. That's how they depict it in movies. It's pretty funny, but the reality is brainwashing is making you believe in something that contradicts your reality. You actually believing that means you're brainwashed. That's what brainwashing is in a fundamental level. It's believing a lie. And the more you believe the lie, the more brainwashed you are. It's literally that simple. I mean, parents brainwash their kids about Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy and all this bullshit. I personally don't do that with my kids, but I'm just saying the majority do. They don't realize they're participating already in lesser magic. That being, lying, deceiving, all of these traits, are part of the lesser magic, It's not actual magic. It's just having the ability to lie, and making people believe those lies. That's how you successfully brainwash someone, So yeah, people do it to themselves all the time. People brainwash themselves all the time because, again, they get emotionally attached to certain ideas, and it just makes it easier for these people to indulge in that idea and just stay brainwashed. It's fucking crazy, bro. Like, it's crazy to see that, but that's exactly what's happening, and again, it's gonna take time, pushing this forward, it's gonna take time. But again, if you're truly about truth and you're honest with yourself, you must take this on board. You must accept the facts of the reality, if you want any change in this reality. If you can't do that, then nothing's gonna change. It's that simple, So again, I implore, people to look into this. If you're on the fence, if you still don't understand why we claim that objects don't accelerate in free fall, it's the Earth's motion, moving upwards. I have a playlist on my channel, of experiments that you can check out. Not only that, you check out my live streams. I explain it as much as I can. I demonstrate as much as I can. I try to simplify it as much as I can, so people can actually grasp it. So I'm doing my best to try and put this out there for people. So again, I can only do so much. It's gonna take the rest of you, to actually look into this unbiasedly, and understand it at the end of the day. Once you understand this, it's game over. There's no doubt in my mind that once people understand this, there's no doubt in my mind that you're not gonna share this. Of course people are gonna share this. Like, what else is there? What's more important right now than, people could say, oh, poverty, but all of that is symptoms of people not thinking straight. People avoiding basic stuff. Like, if you deny basic stuff, then you're gonna be easily swayed and other stuff like, ways of living, concepts of living, ideas of living, all of these things that are a bit more complicated, like the economy. If you could be swayed of simple practical physics, then you're gonna be swayed about these other fucking ideas of living, of economies and governments and all these fucking different ladders of authority. Like it's just all of these problems that we have here right now: poverty, homelessness, drug addiction, all of the problems you could think of. It all stems from people not being properly grounded and being able to discern for themselves. So it becomes the most important topic on earth. People might not see it that way. Again, people want to run before they learn how to walk. But guess what's going to happen when you run before learning how to walk? You're going to eat shit every time, and that's exactly what we're seeing. People are just, they're not properly grounded, so they're just, they're just literally being swayed, being easily swayed into believing bullshit, and literally just being brainwashed. And at the end of the day, is you giving your attention, to these people that are making these claims, literally, like, you're literally giving your attention. You're brainwashing yourself at this point, and you have nobody else to blame but yourself, So I mean, that's where we're at the end of the day. People can deny that, but that's where we're at, Again, if you can't see the significance of this, because people would say, oh, it doesn't matter if it's moving up or motionless. We just have to expose the globe. I mean, globe earthers say that, like, well, it doesn't matter if it's flat or a globe, you know, as long as I'm still alive, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's not about whether it's a globe or level or if it's in motion or not. It doesn't matter. What matters is the truth, the actual truth of what's actually happening. Again, it's you might think it's not significant, but again, if you don't place any relevance and actually believe the contrary, then you're brainwashed. So how can you being brainwashed be a good thing? How can that not be like, holy shit, like maybe we shouldn't, buy into these ideas, or maybe we should, get down to the nitty-gritty and what's actually happening, right? Because I don't want to be brainwashed, at least to the people that are in the middle, I guess, I would say that's a better position to be in than actually claiming it's motionless, right? To be in the middle, because at least you're admitting you don't know, or maybe you don't understand, But for all the people that are doubling down on a motionless Earth or a globe Earth, I mean, I don't know what to say, right? It's pretty crazy. All right, let me shit. Let me go over some. I might have one more conversation. It looks like people might come. Nah, they ranked it. I was gonna be the last one anyway, so we'll see. Let's see if we get one in the next 5 minutes. Hey, what's up, Andrew? Good to see you. Yeah, so I'm just gonna take a little break, I guess, see if anybody approaches, maybe stretch a bit. God. Damn it. I set my alarm for my parking, but I put the wrong time. Fuck. So it was 10 minutes without a meter, so hopefully I didn't get a ticket. I had a feeling I put the alarm wrong because I didn't get it right now. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm almost 2 hours. It should have gone off before the 2-hour mark. So it was 10 minutes without timer on the meter, so hopefully I didn't get a ticket in that time. That would fucking suck. Because as it is, it's $10 for parking. On top of that, I take the day off work, which, I lose money on that too, so a ticket on top of that would fucking suck. Imagine, fuck. So hopefully I didn't get one, man. Cross my fingers, right? Fuck. Son of a bitch. What's up, man? Pretty sure you are, man. Nah? You want to give it a shot? 2 easy questions?
Let's go.
All right. Very easy. This will be the last one too, because I was already about to go. So this first one, again, they have to do with water, both of them. But this first one, I have a water bottle filled with water, halfway filled with water, and I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it easier to see. And I also added a ping pong ball in there for fun. But these 3 water bottles are at rest. But how I'm showing them to you, what's the difference between them?
This one's like flipped like that. This one is normal.
You got it. That's really good. How did you know?
I mean, that's what the ball floats.
Yeah, the ball flows on top of the water, and the water's always at the bottom. Yeah. So that literally is what shows you that. That's pretty good. All right, so this next one's a little bit easier.
Okay.
Let's see. So in this one, I have a box truck, again, halfway filled with water.
Yeah.
But one of these is at rest. One is accelerating forward, and one is accelerating in reverse. So which one is at rest?
This is at rest.
Yeah, you got it. Why is that one at rest?
Because water's not moving.
Exactly. It's at rest. It's just this level, you know. So which one's accelerating forward?
This one.
Why is that one accelerating forward?
Because when it goes forward, water goes backwards.
Exactly. Yeah. So again, when I accelerate this way, the water always pushes back this way, and even when I accelerate down, the water wants to push up because of inertia, right? That always happens with acceleration. So let me ask you this: when I release this into free fall, for example, like this, do you believe gravity accelerated down to the earth? Like that?
I don't think the water moved.
Exactly.
I don't know why.
Exactly. So when we go to physics, you're giving me chills, man, because you actually got that before I even showed you this. When we actually go into physics, I did it in slow motion, acceleration versus free fall.
Yeah.
Obviously, the one with that actually accelerated shows the displacement. It's showing the effects of a force. Free fall doesn't show effects or a force. You know, so basically, I don't know if you knew, gravity is just a theory. So objects don't actually accelerate down in free fall. What's happening is that you're not being pulled down by a magical gravitational force. The Earth is actually pushing up against you. So because your body has inertia, it wants to remain motionless. So that's what that resistance to the push is what gives you your weight. So that's why we have weight, because it's the Earth pushing up against us.
Pushing back up.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works, but
no, yeah. So again, you believe the Earth is a globe, right? A ball. Yeah. So again, if we could prove that it's actually the Earth pushing up against you and it's not you being pulled down, and up is relative on a ball, how can the Earth be moving up on a ball? It wouldn't work, because it would have to be expanding. Because again, up is in every direction away from the center. That's you know, up is this way, and right here up is this way. Right here up will be that way.
Yeah.
So if the Earth was literally moving up, pushing up against you, it wouldn't work from a globe. So the whole globe Earth model relies on this idea or belief that objects accelerate down in free fall, which is actually a lie. So again, without that belief, the globe Earth couldn't even exist. So you've heard of flat Earth before, right?
I heard about it.
Yeah, so over 95% of flat Earthers are basically like globe Earthers, because they claim the Earth is motionless. So they also claim this whole idea that there's a magical force accelerating objects down in free fall.
Yeah.
So they're keeping this whole idea of gravity alive, which is keeping the whole globe Earth idea alive. So these flat Earthers are all gatekeepers.
What about like the world spinning? Is that like?
Well, I would say if it's spinning, it's not moving up; it's moving sideways. The ground will be moving in that direction, not up.
I mean, wouldn't it be the same thing, since it's pushing up, it's spinning you up, kind of?
Well, if it's spinning this way, everything will get pushed out in that direction.
Yeah.
Well, it will be the opposite, because the Earth is pushing up against you, giving the illusion that you're sticking to the Earth. That will do the opposite. It will push you away from the Earth. So, but we're sticking to the Earth, but we're not sticking to it. It's the Earth's pushing up against us. But again, people believe that we're sticking to the Earth, but it's the Earth sticking to us. I guess that's the reality. So again, it wouldn't work from a globe. And again, this whole flat earther, all these flat earthers online, they're all bullshitters. They're all globe earthers in disguise, in my opinion. You know, that's what a gatekeeper would be. You know, so again, they're keeping this whole idea of the globe Earth by keeping the idea that objects accelerate down in free fall. So yeah, that doesn't exist. So I mean, do you have any questions for me?
Nah, I'm pretty much a rock eater. I don't know a lot about this shit.
No, yeah, it's pretty easy. Again, these demonstrations show, again, there's no displacement in free fall. That literally shows us that there's no acceleration, you know. That's why Einstein had to come up with his theory of relativity that invokes a magical force, which is the bending and warping of space-time. So that supposedly there's a flow of matter that's accelerating things down without displacement. So it's bullshit, in other words. So yeah, you can check out my channel if you want to, you know, you could take that with you. It's my last flyer.
I'll take
a picture. Yeah, there you go. And if you have any questions before you go, I mean...
Nah. I mean, I'm not smart enough to ask a question. I don't know what to ask.
I mean, I know this is kind of out of the blue, you know. So like, I get it, you know. Maybe a question will arrive. You could leave a comment. You know, my emails and my videos as well. You know, you never know, man.
I appreciate it.
No, yeah, appreciate the chat, man. William.
Daniel.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call it already. Yeah, again, at the end of the day, you know, reality shows that there is no physical downwards acceleration. So you either get on board or you're gonna be left behind, you know. Just like dense objects, right? If you're too dense, you're just gonna be left behind. Right? All right, thanks again, everybody that, you know, joined the stream, likes the stream, shares the stream, you know. Appreciate that, appreciate the support. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.